This is where the fun begins.
Hello, hello, and it looks like it's kind of quiet here right now, but welcome those who are joining in. And we have some updates here, and normally I only do news when it pertains to the original Star Wars, and this one does. So, Stig, do you have anything you want to say?
Hello?
Hello. Hello. So if you guys haven't watched Ryan Kennel's video, thank you, Ryan Kennel, for posting that. I've been so busy that I didn't realize what was going on. But he noticed this interview that we're going to share with George Lucas talking to students at the Harlem school about Star Wars and mythos and stuff like that. And he says some very important words here to that kind of resonates to what a lot of like original EU, original George Lucas fans, era of Star Wars fans have been, debating with those who are talking against what, or against the original Star Wars, whether they don't like it or whether they like Disney Star Wars better. More power to you. But I thought,
that's okay. It's okay to actually like Disney Star Wars.
Yeah.
A lot of people are growing up with Disney Star Wars at this point. But,
yes.
You at this point though, you can't say that anything Disney is works with Lucasfilm. No, so with Lucas is Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because he says that flat out. He said Star Wars has gone in a different direction that he intended. Big time. And he says Star Wars. He doesn't say just the movies. He says Star Wars.
Yes, exactly. So I'm going to wait for a couple more minutes to get more people in here. And if you're in here with us right now, again, this was last minute. I have a little gap of time frame that I can do this because right now, if you guys haven't been following me on Twitter, I am getting ready for midterms, and this semester really counts for me as I'll be graduating with my degree. So that sets a little bit more precedence than anything else right now. But because this is part of what I represent for my channel and stuff, Stig is like, let's do this. And so here we are. So you guys, thank you for coming in. And I'm going to go ahead and just put the video in the screen right here. So again, this was at the Harlem school. And so he's presenting basically what they were talking about. Basically was, diversity, Black Lives Matter, Star Wars, mythos and stuff like that. So he was put through this interview. And what was interesting is that he even let them know that the diversity he uses in Star Wars isn't what we see as diversity here in our real world. So we'll also point that out as well. So,
yeah. And it's also fun that they kept saying, "Oh yeah, Star Wars was racist before, and so was Lucas, and blah blah blah." And I'm like, he has a black wife.
Yeah, and then they had a child together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
so
racist.
I mean. Yeah, he's very racist. I mean, really, he's very, very racist, I guess. But okay, so let's go ahead and play this video. But before I do you have anything else you want to say?
No, not really.
Okay. All right, let me just make sure I'm on the right side here. So I have it preset. So basically, they're allowing each of the students in the school to, ask George a question. So this is very interesting, the question that the student gave him, and it leads right into Star Wars talk and him announcing that, Disney Star Wars isn't his.
You guys it's just amazing. But I got Jeremiah Camacho, one of our 8th graders, who has a question about Star Wars. So we'll go from the sublime to the sublime.
Cool background, Jeremiah.
Well, thank you. My name is Jeremiah. I'm in the 7th grade, and I really like Star Wars. So my question for you is, the world has changed so much since the first Star Wars movie. How do you think the changes in the fights for racial justice will impact the Star Wars universe going forward?
I don't know. I mean, I've kind of lost control of Star Wars, so it's going off at a different path than what I intended.
All right, so I'm going to pause it here.
He's talking about Star Wars, not just the movies.
Exactly. And those are some important words because I've been in many debates with people on Twitter who stand up for the sequel trilogy and say, "Oh, Ryan Johnson or JJ are made the sequel trilogy in George's vision," even though we know that Bob Iger put in his biography book, whatever you want to call it, and even it's been stated by Kathleen Kennedy and even the directors saying that they didn't have a plan and that they discarded his treatments, his story treatments, or his story ideas, and they went their own way. And it was apparent that they were going to go their own way anyways when they discarded the EU. That was the first hint.
Yeah, they even said it.
Mm-hmm.
It's official. They said they were going to get rid of the EU because it was convoluted, and I believe there were interviews saying that they wanted more strong females and whatever it was in Star Wars, even though there's like 200 of them.
200 plus. I mean, seriously, there are some significant women, even like secondary characters who friggin' held their own.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
All
know, not just the women, the guys too.
Exactly. Know? Yeah, there was no like downgrading and humiliating one gender for the other. There was none of that. Yeah, there was banter going back and forth as we've seen Princess Leia do with Han. There was that push and pull because that's how life is. You know, me and Stig even joke around.
Yeah.
You know, because he's a twat sometimes.
You said the word wrong.
Well, twat. Sorry. See,
you need to say it with some acid, like twat.
Twat. There we go. See, look at, and then he's corrected me. He's mansplaining. Thank you.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
All right.
I'm mansplaining a minority woman.
Yes, he is. Look at that. He's with his white privilege.
Well, you know what? There's probably more Native Americans than there are Norwegians. So
probably. All right. Let's get back into the video.
But the first 6 are very much mine and my philosophy, and I think that philosophy sort of goes beyond any particular time because it's based on history, it's based on philosophy.
All right, I'm going to pause here. So in the beginning, he says he lost control of Star Wars, and Stig and I were talking about that. And mind you, he said he lost control of Star Wars, not his 6 movies, but Star Wars. That includes the EU, the games, the comics, anything else that was being in production that got canceled before, after the buyout, when the buyout was happening, including the movies. Now he's also referring to the 6 movies as his brainchild. Those are the ones that created Star Wars. Those are the foundation. So people get this too confused.
Yeah, what is meant when he says stuff like that is that he makes movies. He doesn't write novels.
Exactly.
Right. So his universe, in a sense, is the movies he's working in. You know?
And everything else expands from that because he sets the ground. He set the ground, and without him making these movies, we would not have no EU to talk about.
No. We wouldn't have anything. But he also helped writers quite a bit with a lot of input, letting them know, you can do this, but you can absolutely not do that. Yeah, exactly. And he even chimed in with a bunch of plot points for the EU. Yeah. Which, why would he even care if it wasn't
his story?
Yeah.
Exactly. Like even like for the New Jedi Order, they wanted Luke Skywalker dead. So the authors who were selected to write that time frame, they're like, well, let's go ahead and make it dramatic. I mean, because the New Jedi Order is a very dark, dramatic series. Almost every single story has a loss, a death, and they're thinking, oh well, Luke Skywalker, let's go ahead and kill him off. And so they went into George to propose that, and he's like, nope, no way. So.
Yeah, and he said they could kill off Leia.
Yep, Leia and Han or anybody else, but not Luke. So and then my point I'm getting to is this: if this wasn't a part of his universe, a part of his story, he could say, "Do whatever the hell you want, kill him."
Yeah, and then we have Filoni claiming, "Oh yeah, I'm following Lucas' vision," right? Mm-hmm. But then we have that thing from that. Book that Disney released.
Yeah.
Where Filoni,
that book?
Where they're planning the sequel trilogy.
That's right.
And Filoni is sitting there saying that, we should, basically nerf Luke, right?
Mm-hmm.
And push Leia, so we can have the matriarchy back in Star Wars, whatever the hell that means.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. And see, that's the thing. So we're going to get more into that diversity thing here. So let's go ahead and listen.
Yeah. So that clearly goes against everything we've heard Lucas say about Luke and Leia after Episode 6.
Exactly.
And EU fans and longtime Star Wars fans picked up on that right away because no, that's not what Lucas said.
Exactly.
Because we know this because we've been following this for 30 years.
Exactly. And the thing is, and then we have this push and pull with now EU to lead us, and what we say basically is wrong, blah 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 blah. But I'm not going to get into those politics because I think it's stupid. I think it just caused more division. I think that there needs to be more listening than talking and learning. But I digress. So let's go ahead and finish with this, or listen to this portion right here.
Based on a lot of things. And the first three basically tell you how a democracy turns into a dictatorship, and you end up with a tyrant, the emperor. It's a very important now.
Now, do you notice, because this has been the recent debate that I've been in so far, and I don't know if you have too, Stig, or not, but basically they're saying that George was basing Nixon or using Nixon, like the emperor was Nixon and blah, 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 like he was creating a documentary. He was inspired by, events that happened during his lifetime, and some of us were alive during some of it, and some of us, weren't, or what have you. But he was inspired by those type of politics to use as a foundation. He wasn't creating a documentary, basing his characters, solely on those people and stuff. He was using them as an inspiration to help create characters.
It had to do with how power corrupts.
Yep.
Which is like the theme of Star Wars. I mean, it corrupts Anakin, it corrupts others.
Yeah, exactly. So let's move on.
He actually even talks about that on the bonus material for the sequel trilogy.
Yes, he does.
We are now in our political history. The other part was that in there, it's like I purposely, all of the various colors and shapes of the aliens and everything that live in that world, it's a normal situation. There's no real discrimination. The only discrimination is against robots. And we haven't really reached that period yet. And,
that's a stab against the Solo movie.
You think so?
Yeah.
All right. So explain yourself.
Robots don't have feelings; they're machines.
Yeah, and that's what he comes. So that's what he says right here too. He kind of
because they don't have the same feelings.
Yep. So they overcome it because they don't have the same feelings.
Exactly, because they don't have feelings.
Exactly, and so that's what he's getting.
That's the whole point. It's a tongue-in-cheek little jab.
Yeah. Well, he said that, he lost control and that, Star Wars isn't what he envisioned. Now it's not what he envisioned. So that says it all. So great pointing out. I didn't catch that part right there with Solo because I keep forgetting about that damn movie because it's not that important to me. I'd rather read the Han Solo trilogy or the Han Solo adventures than watch the movie. And that says a lot, There's a lot more imagination in both of those two trilogies than anything Solo gave us.
Yeah, I have to say though, if Solo wasn't a Star Wars movie, right? If it had nothing to do with Star Wars, just new other characters and stuff, the movie would have been, okay as a sci-fi heist movie.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I think you pointed that, and I heard many other people who've watched it. I totally just forget about it. I'll stick with the novels, both trilogies, what have you. Especially hearing about the Wookiee or Chewie and Han's shower scene. I was like, what the fuck is that about? Oh, that's terrible. But yeah. Oh my God. So let's go ahead and move on.
But it really shows you in terms of the way the politics are and the way things are, how to fight those ideas. And a lot of it really has to do with overcoming fear. The thing that brought that, and also the movies, the thing with Anakin is that he started out a great kid. He was very compassionate, and so the issue is how did he turn back? How did he go to the dark side? And he went to the dark side by the Jedi are not supposed to have attachments. They can love people, they can do it, but they can't attach.
All right, so notice that they can love people.
Yeah.
They can't have attachments. And so this goes back to the New Jedi Order under Luke. He still stuck to that in a sense, to where even himself, when he lost his wife, he didn't have that. Well, he attached himself a little tiny bit because he started mourning her, where he kind of turned his back a little bit. And his son got him out of that attitude. But basically, he taught his students, you can have families, you can have relationships, you can love, but you have to learn how to peacefully let go. And that's the hardest thing you can do. You can still love and have relationships and stuff without having the attachments, but that can build attachments. So that's a very interesting little thing right there.
Well,
right?
The thing is, though, we've known this for 20 years.
Exactly.
And yet you have people, oh yeah, I'm such a huge fan of Star Wars, and they don't know it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is a lot of this is like Star Wars 101.
That's what we're going through, ladies and gentlemen, here. Star Wars 101, George Lucas himself at the Harlem school. So yes. So this is going to go into mythos, and then I'm going to end this here, and then I'm going to play an interview from George at Tribeca as well. And we're going to have further discussion with this before we have to conclude.
That's the problem.
Oh, you had a super chat, by the way.
Oh, did I? Okay.
$1 million, I think.
Ooh, $1 million. Woohoo. All right, let me see. Let's go here. I have 2 of them. All right. Thank you so much. I'll pause it here. And Matt G at $5. Like, oh my gosh, Allison, it's Thursday already. This sunlight savings time is crazy. Like, what? Awesome. Thank you so much, Matt G. And then Lorena, a super sticker. I didn't see what it is. Let me see. Oh, it's popcorn. She's got her popcorn out and she's listening. Thank you so much, you guys, for tuning in. And please hit the like button and share. Get more people in here while we're still live. So thank you guys for coming in. I thought this was really important. So did Stig. So we collaborated and pulled this together. So let's go ahead.
Basically, I said do it, and you did it.
Oh my God, shut it. I agreed. I was thinking the same thing. And so you texted and I was like, yeah, I agree. All right. So let's get to the mythos part and then we'll get to the next video.
Become afraid of losing it. When you become afraid of losing it, then you turn to the dark side and you want to hold on to it. And that's what Anakin's issue was ultimately, was he wanted to hold on to his wife, who he knew he had a premonition she was going to die. He didn't know how to stop it. So he went to the dark side to find, in mythology and everything, they go to Hades and you talk to the devil and the devil says, this is what you do. And basically you sell your soul to the devil. When you do that, then you're afraid and you're on the dark side and you fall off the golden path of passion because you are greedy. You want to hold on to something that you love, and he didn't do it. And as a result, he turned back.
So the thing about that is, George, you're saying with the movies, there's the time. It's not of the time, but the lessons are timeless, right?
Yeah, they're timeless.
Imagine that.
Exactly. And I remember
Timeless,
you having a conversation last week about Star Wars being timeless because they use mythos and stuff.
Yeah, it's designed to be timeless. So when Disney says, yeah, we're going to try and make it more current and, up to date on modern politics, you're making it not Star Wars anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And I think so many people, and that was another discussion that I had before, is that, oh, well, they're using, because of the fact that we now see pronouns being used in the new lore. You can't beat around what happened in that scene. They still use pronoun. It was a way to correct someone not using the proper pronoun. So it was, shoehorned in there. And so he goes into that.
Yeah, as soon as you get modern politics like that, it's not Star Wars anymore. Simple as
Mm-mm.
that.
Yeah, it starts aging. It's not timeless, as he says, and that's
Yeah,
why he says he's lost control.
It's basically let's say you take four empty bottles, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you just and you break them.
Okay.
So it's like a pile of glass.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a bottle anymore.
Yeah.
Right? It's not what it was designed to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's debris. It's trash.
Yeah. That's a great analogy. All right, let's listen some more.
They're based on ancient mythology. Mythology was designed ultimately to give a society the tools they need to be a society, which means they have to have a common belief system. They have to believe in the same gods. They have to believe who their leaders are. They have to believe what their history is. They have to believe who their heroes are. Those are the things that combine to make a society. If you don't have those things, then you don't have a society.
If I can be a little bit political about that.
Okay, go ahead.
This is what the SJWs are taking away. They're taking away society by destroying the heroes and all that, so they can build a new one.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
Same thing that happens with every communist revolution. The statues and the important books get burned. And, we see statues being torn down and all that. Heroes being changed and demonized. It's the sign of the. It's the sign of the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree.
The United States was a conglomerate of a lot of different ideas.
All right. I think we missed the part where it says aliens. It was right around the droid area, so we didn't touch on it very much.
No, he said that.
Yeah. And so we didn't really touch on that. And so the thing is with that is he's talking about diversity, and so he basically says, Star Wars is diverse in its own world. There's many different aliens, different type of aliens, different skin, different humans, skin color of humans, all of that. And he says that you don't really put in, the new politics or the new diversity or our world diversity for Star Wars. It has its own diversity. And I think that's what people are missing. And that's what the new owners of Disney Star Wars is missing, is that it has its own diversity. They don't have to meet quota of diversity to our reality. They have to keep up with that reality or that lore, that fantasy.
It doesn't take place in our world. It's not that difficult. Yeah,
exactly. So, and I think that's the overall picture that people are missing. And that includes, like, if you use pronouns, that's fine. Just don't, impose them on me. All that. I mean, no more power to you, just like with sexual preference, whatever you prefer, men and men, women and women, what have you. Good for you. I don't need to know.
Yeah, it's not relevant for Star Wars.
No, it's not relevant for Star Wars. And even if it is, it's when the old Star Wars, original Star Wars, did it beautifully. We have a Mandalorian couple that are gay, but it wasn't like shoved into our face.
No, it didn't matter because it was just there.
Yeah, it was written in that with common knowledge. We already know what gay people are. Of
course there would be gay people or whatever in Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge galaxy. I mean, our world, as far as we know, it's only one that has stuff on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we have gay people. So if we're talking in thousands of planets, then, there's going to be gay people. There's going to be bisexuals. There's going to be all kinds of shit.
Exactly. And so I'm going to pull up one of the most important videos that I use, because this is one of George's most recent interviews. And I think it's significant to what he has to say right here, that we just listened to at the Harlem school. And so it's this video right here, the Tribeca Film Fest 2017. And so basically, This is just the exact clip from it, and we're going to go ahead and take a listen.
What are your hopes for the new Star Wars movies? What is a new hope for the new Star Wars movies? As they clearly are headed to a new franchise.
Well, I hope it's successful. I hope they do a great job. They've, the original saga was about the father, the children, and the grandchildren. And that's not a secret to anybody. It's even in the novels and everything. And then the children were in their 20s and everything. So it wasn't.
All right. So that's the important part right there. He basically says it's the father, the children, and the grandchildren. And it was even in the novels. He just got done saying that the novels are a part of the Star Wars saga.
Yeah. That's exactly what he said. And when he says Disney Star Wars is not what he envisioned, you could easily just make a one step towards George, and you'll know that he meant the EU was part of Star Wars, which is why the EU books, it didn't say EU on them, it just says Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly. It didn't say Star Wars Lore or whatever. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no different timelines, no different universe. Nothing. I know there's a quote from George saying that the EU isn't his universe, but he's been asked about writing.
Yeah,
George Lucas is a movie maker. He's not a novelist.
Yeah,
that's what he means.
Yeah, he may have helped develop, he ghost written for a couple of novels. He's ghost written a prologue for a book, that's Shatterpoint, but that's not his niche. That's not what he's about. His study is in filmmaking. Yeah, and so
it makes sense. He doesn't write the books. It's not his work. He hired people to do that.
Exactly.
I mean, he wouldn't hire people to do that if he didn't care about it, would he?
Oh, yeah.
He was also Shatterpoint and a couple of other books that were released around that time were all taken into consideration and referenced directly in the prequel trilogy.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot referenced. Yeah.
If he puts it in his movies, then clearly that's part of his vision.
And
Ayla Secura came straight from the comics. Aura Singh came straight from the comics. I think Jetster, the guy at the diner, I think he was in the EU first.
Yeah, he was.
Unless I'm remembering it wrong.
I believe so. I think he did come in. I have to go back and review, but I'm almost positive. If I'm not, I'm sorry. But my I have to go back and review, like I said. But he came from, I think, a novel or a short story. So
yeah, and the start of Attack of the Clones directly references a book, Anakin and Kenobi's mission to Ancion, with Luminara and Barriss. And guess why Barriss and Luminara are at Palpatine's office? They're there delivering a report of that mission.
Yeah. And this is what this guy says. And we just went over this. George literally changed his mind all the time with you. George changed his mind a lot. There's some quotes that he contradicted himself, and that's already known, and that's been known. He helped a lot with a lot of the EU, and he had overseen everything. I believe the classic EU was Lucas film canon, but it wasn't George Lucas canon. I think that's where you're getting confused. All of it was canon. It was tiered. The movies.
Yeah, but there were no tiers before around 2000, because before that there wasn't an EU.
Yeah,
it was just Star Wars books and stuff, and then they realized, shit, this stuff is getting big. We need to kind of take more care with continuity. And I see a lot of people use the Dark Empire thing as an example, because that contradicts the prequels, and sure as hell it does. But that comic was designed to be a one-off.
Yeah.
You know, people seem to skip that bit. It was supposed to be a one-off, kind of like Splinter of the Mind's Eye.
Yeah.
So you know, it was kind of pseudo canon, and most of the EU even wrote around it.
Yeah. Yeah, and then like Stig just got done clarifying, like the early stuff was basically pseudo canon because they didn't have an idea of expanding the universe just yet. They didn't realize how much of a hit it was going to be.
Yeah, and if you want to learn more about that, go to Open Airlock Policies channel because he did a terrific video about that not long ago.
Yeah. Exactly. And so let's do you have anything else you want to add, Stig? I don't think I'm gonna play the rest of this video. I mean, it's not pointless, but we listened to the exact point that I wanted to share.
Yeah, basically, he says Star Wars didn't head in the direction he wanted or intended, which is kind of, it should be crystal clear to everyone at this point, but sadly it isn't.
Yeah.
And he's talking about Star Wars. Not just the movies, the whole thing.
Exactly.
The comics, the TV shows, the novels, if you can even call them that, and the video games.
Yep. And then we have this very important thing here. Leland Chi was hired as a holocron keeper. He was tasked to straighten out continuity. Yes, him and Sue Rustoni, she was the beginning of ironing out the EU into a nice path of continuity. Then he came in as well. So him and Sue Rustoni basically, once they realized, or she realized that the EU was very important and that it was taken off and significant, is when they started creating it or making a foundation from the movies.
Yeah, and when George Lucas made the special editions for Star Wars, which he claims that's his ultimate vision for the movies, right? Which means sadly Han didn't shoot first, but we don't have to like it, but that's what he did.
Yeah.
But he also added Dash Rendar's ship to the movie, and one of the droids from Shadows of the Empire is in it. You have Prince Zizor is in the Phantom Menace as a spectator at the pod race. All EU, and he put it into his movies, his vision.
Exactly.
I don't see any Rey in there,
Yeah. And he, again, like you said, he loved Shadows of the Empire, and he was involved with that. He was, no matter how big or small, he was involved with almost everything, and that includes all of the Clone Wars, the mini series to Filoni series. He was involved in one way, shape, or form. He may have stepped back from some of it, and later on, and I don't want to get into that debate right now. But he had significant say, especially when it was the early EU and before 2008. So let's see here, Logan. I also want to say, for people who say the classic EU wasn't even canon, why was it rebanded as Legends to decanonize it in the first place? That's exactly what that I've been pointing out.
Yeah, I mean, Disney even said it. They decanonized it.
Yeah.
But Captain Robert April says the canon status of the EU has always been subject to executive override. Let's not get carried away. Correct. Because the novels and comics were on a lower tier than the movies.
Yeah.
That was so they wouldn't force Lucas to make movies a certain way.
Yeah.
And that's why you had tiers,
And that's why I always refer to the movies as a foundation. And when I say that, it's like the creator of the movies, the creator of Star Wars has ultimate say. He's the one who created the foundation, and everything has to follow and has to be approved, what have you. So I'm not saying that, they hold precedence over the movies. That's not what this is about. This proves that, George Lucas seen everything as his, that, he sees Disney Star Wars not as his. And so there you go. Let's see here. Let's scroll down. Stig said Phantom Menace.
Did I? I thought I said Phantom.
I don't know. I didn't catch that one. Maybe it sounded, sometimes that sounds like that. I can't stand the special edition edits of the films, but I'd rather they stay in the movies if it makes keeping the EU canon a small sacrifice to pay. And there's different people and different views from many people about the special editions. I don't mind them too much. I mean, yeah, the original, the classic, the very first ones before the edits came out. Those are great too. Those are great. And
there's two things I don't like about the special editions.
Okay.
It's when Han walks around Jabba, it looks really bad.
Yeah.
That looks really bad. And then you have the new band that's singing at Jabba's palace. I know, it used to have a blue elephant, right? But still, that singer looks like something from a Pixar movie.
Yeah, exactly. And this little, I wouldn't say nitpicks. I don't call those nitpicks. I call them, basically, everybody has their likes and dislikes and stuff like that. And it's okay. I don't mind him. I knew exactly what he was trying to do. Yeah, there are some scenes, like Stig said, that's like, ooh, well, he could have done better choice with that, or just left it, kind of deal. So I get that as well. I'm not saying it's perfect. I just understood what George was doing. It didn't hurt the plot. He wasn't changing the plot. He was just trying to just, put in some more things to kind of link it to the rest of the lore, like the PT and stuff. And he did add EU, like Stig said, Rendor's ship.
And he also said, I think this was on the Blu-ray commentary track, or in an interview, he said he was going to add a shot of Boba Fett crawling out of the Sarlacc. But he didn't have time to shoot that one for the special editions.
Yeah.
And I seem to remember something about Mara Jade in the background at Jabba's palace, but I can't remember where it was. It could be fake news.
I think at one point that they were considering, or it was being considered of putting her in, but then George, there was too much going on, and that's one thing he skipped over. Yeah. Now imagine if he put her in there, then would say the anti-Mara Jade Luke marriage be like, George didn't like Mara. Imagine if he would actually put her in there.
Yeah.
So that's just something.
Well, actually, since he said he was going to use the novels, and he said he was going to use Anakin's grandchildren. That means Ben Skywalker and Jaina Solo.
Correct.
Because they're the only ones left in the novels. So that means Luke had a son, and that means Mara Jade.
Exactly. That means Mara Jade. Yeah. So, it's gonna, I don't think this is gonna even, squish any of these like shilling debates that happens, but this just brings more light to it. They'll still go back to that Stargate quote. They go back to every single time. They don't really use anything. They just use little clips, but I am in the process of pulling that quote, the whole entire quote, to debunk people, because it's only cut and pasted, or it's only a portion of it taken out, but you're not seeing the rest of the quote or the rest of the interview
which is what SJWs do.
Yeah. So
I mean, you saw it when they attacked Geeks and Gamers and Ryan and Drunk 3PO and whatever the other day. It was just a video with a bunch of quotes out of context.
Yeah, exactly. And then, then we have what people have called the apprentice of George Lucas.
Well, that just took a major hit. Because Dave Filoni, right? We just heard George Lucas say that Star Wars had gone in a direction he did not, intend for at all. Yeah, well, Dave Filoni has been the executive producer on 9 Star Wars projects. 3 are yet to be released, but so far he's been an executive producer for 9 of them. It's Resistance. What is it? Force of Destiny. The new season of the Clone Wars.
Ahsoka.
Rebels. The Mandalorian.
Ahsoka, her pet, his pet, his.
So if you, and the Ranger thing, and the Bad Batch. So
Yeah.
if you think about it, if he is so against Kathleen Kennedy and so pro George, why the hell does Kathleen Kennedy
Mhm.
let him produce that much Star Wars? I mean, he's on
Yeah.
screen. He's probably been an executive producer on more Star Wars stuff than George
Yeah.
at this point. So
Mm.
no way is he not on the same page as Kennedy, because we know that anyone who doesn't see eye to eye with Kennedy, you know,
Mhm.
the directors and whatnot, they get fired.
Yeah, we have Trevorrow. We have the two that produced the solo that were like, what, 78% completed. And she was like, bye. I
Yeah.
forget their names. Like, I mean, like I said, anything that deals with the solo movie, I'm like, I just totally just like kind of blanked out and like forgot about it because it's like I said, not important to me. That's kind of funny, but it is what it is. So I have Cavatino Che, or Cavatino, yeah, Cavalry Trooper Che. I was scrolling through my feed and saw Vader finds Malak and Raven on Exegol. See, there we go. They rewritten them. People wish that they had Old Republic characters in. They're not them once they're rewritten. You don't get the same people. You don't get the same characters. Found them on Exegol on Star Wars Comics channel. Got to be kidding me. And I haven't seen that. I haven't been
Well,
much.
that's not even possible, because the Old Republic story
Mm-hmm.
can't happen because of the High Republic, because there's no hyperspace lanes.
Exactly. By that time, there's none. It's still hyperspace convention, like the drive
in
is
the
still.
in the Outer Rim, that is.
Yep.
But yeah, so the Knights of the Old Republic, because of the High Republic, can't happen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, most of the planets you go to in the Old Republic game is Outer
Outer
Rim.
Rim.
Yeah,
And I
Tatooine is
think,
Outer Rim. You go to that one.
yeah, and isn't even they go into a little bit of unknown space too, a little bit in the
Yeah,
game?
the rat attack or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Skyforge.
Yeah. There you
Oh,
go.
so, no, sorry, Starforge is in
Mm-hmm.
very much Outer Rim,
Yeah.
and other planets too.
Yeah. All right. So we have Logan. In my honest opinion, I like Mara and Luke being together and Ben Skywalker existing because Luke seems like a guy who would love having a family, changing how the order's rule worked. And that also goes with George Lucas. George Lucas was always family oriented. And we even seen that because that was, that was seen with Anakin, but Anakin took the wrong path to keep his family together, so we kind of have like the Greek tragedy there. Then we have Luke, who then was, later after Return of the Jedi, had a family and changed the perception of attachment, and how that, was kind of a downfall, or I would say an error in the old Jedi Order. And
Well, here's the thing, though. George Lucas stepped in
mhm,
on the EU a lot,
mhm,
and he told them, you have to kill Anakin Solo. You can't kill Jason Solo,
yeah,
and you're not allowed to kill Luke. You'd think if he had a problem with Luke getting married and having a kid, he would have said so big time.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And, that was in development because, Mara did get pregnant during the time decision of George saying, we can't have Anakin Solo alive. George was making his prequel trilogy during that time, and he didn't want to confuse both Anakins in a sense, but he also didn't want both Anakins to have significant, like I wouldn't say prophecy, but significant role within the timelines together. He didn't want confusion.
Yeah, and that whole narrative is now shot to bits.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, George Lucas also said that, and you can see this in several interviews, because they used to ask him a lot about what happened to Luke and Han and Leia after the movies.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd always say Luke became the most powerful Jedi in the galaxy.
Yeah.
After that, and technically that's not a big feat because he was the only one.
Mm-hmm.
But he said that, and he said Luke trained a new generation of Jedi, and slowly brought peace to the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have that thing from the what's it called, the art of the sequel trilogy or whatever it's called, the book.
Yeah.
Where you see the transcript of that meeting when they were planning the sequel trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Dave Filoni. Yeah, we should make Leia the main one, and bring the matriarchy back to Star Wars.
Yeah.
That's not what George Lucas said. That's not his vision at all.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Yep. He made the Skywalker twins equally as significant. When you look at, and again, I'm gonna state this. I'm gonna that when someone has treatments for a story, that's not exactly how the story is gonna pan out. It's an idea of what could possibly happen. When we see the treatments from the other movies that George did, Luke was supposed to be a woman. His name was supposed to be Star Killer at one point. Han was supposed to be an alien at one point.
Yeah, I think people are mistaken plot for story, which is I get that, because it's been like a debate since the dawn of time, really, almost. But plot is just the main events. Right?
Yep.
It's Leia gets captured, Luke meets Kenobi, they meet Han Solo, that sort of stuff. Story is everything in between, the how and why of it.
Yeah.
And the character development, all of that stuff. So basically, if you have like a line of numbers from 1 to 10, the plot would be number 1, 4, and 8. The story would be all the other numbers.
Yeah. Yeah. Hello, Miss Martin Muses. How you doing, darling? I hope you're enjoying some good flavored coffee.
Yeah, she could really need a meal at this.
That was not successful, Stig. All right, Captain Robert April. Filoni is a bit like Captain Renault in Casablanca. He goes where the wind blows.
Yeah. And these days he's blowing Kathleen Kennedy.
Ooh, I don't want even. That's disgusting.
That's exactly what he said.
Oh my God. Yeah. So this is what we wanted to touch bases on. This is some breaking news here. Even though I think that was back in November or December of 2020. Let me see. I'm gonna look at so yeah, this was posted October 16th, 2020. And other people, go ahead and support and watch Ryan's channel. He discovered it through a couple of other people that caught that too as well. And so this is coming down the chain of, for us EU channels to review and get you guys here. So this also tells everyone who says that, George liked The Last Jedi because he said it was beautifully done. And what happened?
He was talking about the visuals. They skipped that bit. And it is a very good visual movie.
Yes. The colors are vivid and everything. It's shot well.
The movie looks gorgeous. Nothing.
But a gorgeous movie does not make a good movie. It does not make a good story. And that's the thing that he has stated. But those who say, he liked the ST, the sequel trilogy or Disney trilogy, this is proof he did not.
Yeah, and it's just because a woman is really good looking doesn't mean she knows how to shag.
Yeah. Oh my God, yes. So Rev Kev, I just finished book 1 of Jedi Academy series last week. Such a better view of Kessel than we got in Solo.
Oh yes, he's right. Kessel is awesome in that book.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So there's one plus you said about that. Stig, I like the Jedi Academy. I think it's a fun read, but Stig has a few little choice words. And see, this is proof that, the EU, everybody's going to have a different opinions on what books and series or timelines they like over others. And that goes even with Stig and I.
Well, I'm not going to get into details about this because Revkev is reading it for the first time.
Yeah,
So I'm not going to spoil it.
Okay.
But for me, it was the way the story was written more than anything. I don't hate the Jedi Academy one, but it's just
could have been done a lot better.
It's an important book in terms of events, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I felt they should have made it less cheesy.
Oh, okay. Good point. Good point. All right. I think we need to start winding down now because I got to hop on into my Zoom class for math. So, Stig, do you have any final words you want to say or add before we conclude here, or something that we missed?
Well, given this one, this interview, it's pretty much spelled out. You know, the Disney Star Wars is not Star Wars. And he's saying Disney's Star Wars. He's not saying just the movies. It's all of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
All of it. Even if you like, The Mandalorian, that's fine. It's okay to like it, but it's not what George intended, no matter what Filoni says. Because I've noticed every time Filoni starts to get some criticism, he immediately starts talking about George. He's using George as a shield.
Yeah, that's what adhering to it's a fallacy, adhering to authority or something like that. So he's using a fallacy. He's going to authority to cover his tracks and stuff, even though it's probably not even, some of it's not even valid. But that's for another debate right there. That's for another debate. So we have Miss Martin Muses here. She's one of the members of my channel. Thank you for dropping in. And this made me giggle while you were talking. Stig implanted an image I never want to see again. Now I must find something to purge it from my mind.
Oh, sorry.
Yes. All right. So thank you guys for tuning in. We got up to 30 people at one point, and thank you guys for coming in. I will have all the information in the description below here soon after I get out of class. You guys, if you guys have anything else to say or want to add and you can't get it in the comments, you're always welcome to rewatch and comment below in the section there. And then again, you can find Stig here. So go ahead and plug yourself on where they can find you this week.
Well, today I'm actually going to be on YouTube 2 more times. I'm going to be on Storking's channel to talk about the Game of Thrones books.
All right.
Well, we're not talking about the books today. We're talking theories, fan theories today. So that's going to be fun. And then I'm going to be on Geek Blend's channel playing trivia, which is fun.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, that's really fun. You guys watch.
Yeah, and then I'm not doing anything until the coffee chat. I'm pretty much 75% retired from YouTube, to be honest. It's just it started taking up too much time and stuff, so now I just talk about Star Wars and books I like or whatever, or play the trivia game. That's pretty much all I do.
Yeah.
If anything.
Yeah. He just goes and has fun with everybody, and he's a great co-pilot for my channel. He's been helping me, keeping me in line since I'm like, my mind is like everywhere because of midterms. So today, because I have midterms, my first midterm test Wednesday. Next week, I have my painting review. So we're going to go ahead and critique our paintings, which is very different. So I really don't have to study for that. So this week I probably won't be on Toxic Femme again because I have to get shit done. I have to review some of the formulas for math and stuff to make sure I pass. I mean, it's not hard, but still it's good to be prepared and stuff. So I won't be, and I have a couple more paintings to finish up before next week. So you will find me here Thursday coffee chat. And
so you're doing math classes?
Math.
So do you have anything to add to that?
Yes, I'm adding right now. And then we do finally have coffee or literature review this Saturday. I want to do it at 6, but I'm waiting for the panel to make sure that they can come in at that time. So stay tuned for that. We are talking about Shadowhunter, and I will post the books to be voted on here pretty quick within the next couple of days.
Captain Robert April says, I think George would keep The Mandalorian. No, he wouldn't. because
No.
Ahsoka's in it, and George was crystal clear that he wanted Ahsoka to die at Order 66.
Yeah.
So, The Mandalorian also contradicts a shitload of stuff George did. I mean, the hyperspace crap alone makes episode 1, 4, and 5 look stupid. So I'm sure he would have liked a Mandalorian-ish show, but he wouldn't approve of that crap.
Yeah. Yeah. And they say, oh, well, George was on set. And I know we're getting into this whole another subject, but George was on set. So, he approved everything. He was on Solo too. It doesn't mean he already clearly states he doesn't approve of any of that. He took a shot at Solo.
Yeah. And Kathleen Kennedy was also on the set. So.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's go ahead and end this here. Thank you guys again for coming in and supporting the channel and listening up. And for the members that dropped in, thank you again. And you guys have a great day, and may the force be with you.